Hi friend, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ann Lazinski and I am a tech and automation specialist, and I help virtual assistants who wish to become system specialists to thrive in this area of work. I'm very excited for this video because I'm going to be talking about 3 ways that you could potentially offer CRM setup as part of your business. So let's get started. So I do want to put a small disclaimer on this video and say that these 3 are not the only ways that you can offer this as a service. People have invented so many different ways to be able to offer this, and I encourage you to take one of these ideas or multiple of them if you would like to offer it in a couple of different ways and put your own spin on it, because ultimately people want to work with you and the experience you provide. And so these are just general concepts to kind of get your brain started, start thinking about how you want to offer it, and inspire you to create something of your very own. Okay? So let's get started with service opportunity number 1. So the first way that you could potentially offer a CRM setup to a client is doing a full setup for them. This means scheduling several meetings with the client, or sending them a questionnaire, or coming up with a process to be able to gather the information from them for their process. So we gather the information from them for their process, and then we take our time over a week or 2 weeks, or however long our timeline we want it to be able to build out the account. So let's take the example of a Dubsado setup, and going into Dubsado and setting up all the forms, all the emails, all the workflows, all of the settings, all of the schedulers, every single piece that we have determined that the client needs to utilize with their specific services. All right, and this can take a week for some people, this can take 2 weeks, this can take 3 weeks. It kind of depends on your style of work, your client's style of work, how you best perform and decide to deliver the service, okay? So there's no right or wrong answer for how long this could be, but the main thing that I want you to take away from this is that we are working with the client, but mostly doing all of the setup on our own. So we're taking the information from the client, helping them to craft an even better client journey, because once you get into the system you're using, you're going to know the different nuances behind it. You're going to know how all of the different parts and pieces work. And so if we are able to advise our clients on ways that they can improve their client journey, it's going to be so much better of an experience for them, because they're coming to us not only for the setup of the system, but also for our knowledge of how a process works and how a client journey works, okay? So we can think about this, and we can think about the ways that we are able to assist our client. So some of the ways that I do this is I will send them a questionnaire. We will have a 2-hour mapping call. It usually lasts around 90 minutes, but I always block off 2 hours just in case, where we walk through each part of the client journey. So I have another video on the 4 phases of the client journey. I will link that wherever videos are linked here on YouTube, but I'll link that for you because I think that'll be very beneficial in reviewing that, because when I do these phone calls, I go through each section of those individually. So we focus on one part at a time, knock it out, talk about all of the different pieces that could potentially be included, and enhance their client journey there. So this approach of having a very hands-off for the client is preferred by a lot of clients, and it's going to be usually a higher price point offer. So we're talking about $2,500 plus for something where you go in and you offer them all of this expertise, all of the form design, everything, and essentially set up the whole account for them. Okay? So that is opportunity number 1 that you could potentially think about when you are deciding how to offer this as a service. Number 2, I know a lot of people do VIP days with clients. So this includes a little bit of pre-work up front. So you are gathering information from the client up front. Perhaps you have a phone call with them. Perhaps you just send them a questionnaire, and then you start implementing it and making sure that everything is set up on that day. So a lot of people don't do it exactly on the day. Obviously, you have the time leading up to the day with the information that the client has given you to be able to do that. But the idea is that in that one day, you're going to have a cohesive process for your client. So generally, these work very well for businesses that have less services, that are more straightforward, that are easier to set up in Dubsado. I'm not saying that other people can't do higher end Dubsado setups, but making sure that we know exactly what we need to do and making sure that you are capable of doing it in a day is very important here. Okay, so making sure that we are all on the same page. Maybe you have a team of people that helps you accomplish this, to design the forms, write the emails, all of that, but making sure that everything is done during that day, and at the end of the day you're offboarding the client and you're ready to go. So this is a little bit more stressful for some people, especially figuring out all of the pieces that you can do before you actually get onto your VIP day with your client, but figuring it all out and figuring out a system that works well for you is going to be really important here. Okay. Next, we have the strategy session. So this is going to be the lowest price offer here because VIP days, again, are up there in price with the full Dubsado setup, because essentially that is what the client is getting during those days. But the strategy session here is when you sit down with the client for 90 minutes or 60 minutes and you go through a process with them to be able to implement that into their account, or perhaps you tweak something that is already in their account. So it's a little bit lower end. You're not doing every single thing. You're focusing on one specific piece of the puzzle and you're helping your client flesh that out really well. So maybe they need just an audit of their Dubsado and some tweaks made. Maybe they want just an onboarding process created and you can help them to create that together. So just thinking about what the client's specific needs are and if there's anything that you can do in that 90-minute block that wouldn't necessarily constitute a whole Dubsado setup, but is something that your client could really benefit from, is where these strategy sessions are great for, okay? And these are usually a lot lower priced. Obviously, you're not setting up the whole Dubsado account in these sessions, but making sure that we are thinking about our price per hour and what our time is worth, because our time is precious and it is definitely worth more than $30 an hour. I know a lot of people come from the general admin world where people are charging $30 to $35 an hour, but I encourage you to price these strategy sessions at least $200 and then go upwards from there as you get more experience, okay? So those are the three ways. Again, it is the full Dubsado setup, which takes place over a longer period of time to be able to help your clients to set up the whole Dubsado system to thrive with their business. There's the VIP day, which you do some pre-work for, and then you essentially finish building it out during the day and offboard them on a specific day. There is the strategy session, which is the 90-minute, 60-minute call that you have with your clients to be able to troubleshoot a specific problem or offer a specific solution in their Dubsado account for. So all three of these ways are great ways to be able to offer this as a service. Obviously, there is so much more that you could do for different things. You could offer courses, you could offer resources and tools. There is a multitude of different ways that you can do this, but those three things are the three main ways that I see a lot of people doing. So taking those ideas and kind of coming up with your own spin on them and figuring out what works best for you and your schedule and your ideal client schedule is going to be very beneficial here. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. If you found value in this, let me know in the comments below what your biggest takeaway is. If you offer this as a service, let me know in the comments what services you offer. I'm so excited to continue to talk to you guys about this because I think that we can come up with such a beautiful organic business. And even though there are so many people in this industry, we can come up with an experience that is unique to us. All right. So if you have not yet liked and subscribed, please do that. I would love to have you stick around for future videos. And I hope to see you guys very, very soon. So we'll talk to you later.